Hello, welcome to our IRC Introspective Collective podcast. Our weekly podcasts are about wellness, self development, and self love. If you are interested in these topics, you have come to the right place. Today's topic, we are kind of transitioning into the new year of 2024, and we're going to start the year off by focusing how taking a look in the mirror may be the key to your most successful year yet.
Wow, I like that. That starting off the new year with reflection. Now, of course, I have to say the man in the mirror, the individual in the mirror, male, female, or transgender. Don't want to leave anyone out.
However you identify.
However, you identify, we want to identify what will give us the best chance of success in the new year. What are some things that we need to reflect on as individuals to start off our year? Yes, I know people enlist, oh, New Year's resolution. And you know what research says by January 20 something, that's when your New Year's resolution is going to end. So why is it important to focus on yourself? Well, what could be that one area? Is it fitness? Is it self-discipline, self-development, inner work, wellness, yoga, healthy eating? I also want to put a plug in for finances, getting your financial household in order. So what say you all?
Absolutely. We certainly need to get our house in order. I'm thinking about some of the reasons uh, why people don't look in the mirror. You
Oh,
know,
that's a good way. Good way to
I
segue.
like that.
oftentimes it's fear,
Mm-hmm.
fear of success. Uh, Sometimes people feel unworthy,
Mm-hmm.
of having that higher vision and going after it. Sometimes people have been told from a very young age that they're not going to be successful.
True.
You always hear the stories of the parents that always told the child, you're never going to be nothing.
Criticism.
You're not going to amount to anything. And so these types of things stay with us and it keeps us from being our best selves. So I think first we need to think about why we haven't looked in the mirror because we all have things we need to work on.
True.
And when we get up in the morning, the first thing we do is look in the mirror.
That is true. When you
Right,
wash your face, when you brush your teeth, you're looking in the mirror.
But do we
True.
really look in the mirror?
Or take the time to dig deep, as we'll focus on as well, doing that inner work.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's the first step is to really intentionally take the opportunity to say that I need to take a deeper look at myself.
And I guess to kind of pick up where you left off is I think, and when we're talking with people and just, when I do my own self-reflection, people have to kind of examine, or recognize we are imperfect beings. So we are
Absolutely.
flawed.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and in order to grow, you have to look at those flaws. Everyone is flawed. We're fragile. We're mortal. It's no one, I know people are judgmental, but it's really no one should judge another because we all have issues. So we kind of look at, throwing out some terms that will, have our audience become more and more familiar with. Not saying that you guys aren't familiar, but we'll dig a little deeper into it. But it's also self-reflection and self-acceptance. And self-acceptance doesn't mean that you don't hold yourself accountable. That means that you recognize that, okay, I am flawed. These are areas that I struggle with. And then when we look at growing, if we look at self-development, how can you develop if you don't identify where you need to develop from, what areas are, as we
Absolutely.
refer to them, as growth areas.
Absolutely.
So as you do that, and you can do that with self-love, it's like, I love myself and I know that I'm imperfect, but I want to be the best version of myself. Like I say, doing the inner work this year and looking at the harsh truth, I can have the most successful year, if at nothing else, at the most successful year of growing and learning to love myself and learning to identify what peace and happiness is, because it really does all starts and ends with self. So without looking at the person in the mirror, how can change even really occur? Because we're taught to look externally, and it's easy to blame, well, if he didn't do this and if she didn't do that and the economy this and the blah blah this. And yes, I'm not saying that those don't factor into it, but those are things that we don't necessarily have control over. We have control over ourselves. So yes, the economy, the recession, the interest rates, but are we managing our finances? I get it. Or sometimes we may not want to, but does that mean we need to get a side hustle? But when we
True.
get a side hustle, are we getting a side hustle so we can spend more money? Or are we getting a side hustle because we got a budget, a budget, and we know that we need to pay off some debt? So now that this side hustle, that's the purpose of it, not so that we can spend more money. Because ultimately, when we eliminate debt, we'll have more disposable income, and then we still can do all of those additional things.
Absolutely. So it's important that you take that look in the mirror
Absolutely.
so that you can identify those areas that you need to improve. And when you take a deep dive, you may be able to see that, some of the people in your circle, perhaps you need to change. Sometimes when you find that you're the smartest person in your circle, sometimes you need to realize that you need to expand your circle, in order to move towards your goals, in order to move towards success. You need to expand your circle, perhaps. If it's family, if it's friends, whoever it may be in your circle, you have to evaluate what value do they bring to me. Some relationships are dependent. You may find that someone is always dependent on you in order for them to get what they need, and you find yourself always extending and going beyond in order to support others. So again, we have to take that closer look in the mirror and kind of evaluate, who we are and who we are to other people.
And I love where I'm hearing some universal things as I listen to the both of you. We know change is a continuum, right?
Yes.
We understand from former things that have been published, information that, sometimes it takes 21 days to begin a new habit. Well, let's understand it's not all together all at once.
Yeah.
It's increments that we should be looking at changing, because one, you didn't just, whatever state you want to change, you did not become that state overnight.
True.
You're not going to change that state overnight.
Realistic expectations.
Realistic, but also dreams are just dreams unless goals are attached to give legwork. So first it's about identifying what are those things that you want to change. Now, again, I want to be very clear. There are intentions. So what is the intention to change? Is it because I want to keep up with the Joneses, or is it because I want to be my best self?
True.
And I want us to think about this in the new year. Intentions versus comparisons. Because on social media, what are we doing? We are watching other people, however they choose to present on social media or TV. And are we trying to compare ourselves with them?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I want you to really be specific about the intentions of why should I change? Like, I know I want to achieve some professional and personal goals in the coming new year. So my intentions and goals are in align with those ideals for my professional vision and my personal vision. It's not tied to others' or what I may see. Yes, of course, we want to go on a cruise because we see that's something people are doing and that's fun. That's not a problem. But is that within your budget to take a cruise right now?
Right.
So understanding what is appropriate, what is reasonable in how you are defining those goals or those needs where you change. And then one thing I like to talk about, um, everyone knows I'm an educator at heart, so I love to throw out what is learning. When you think about what is learning, when we think about learning, what do we really think? What are we doing? We're gaining new information that in many ways may change how we think about things.
Exactly. Change our perceptions. Yeah.
Change our perception, change our understanding, change our
can change our even our interaction
Right.
now that we have a new outlook.
right. So then learning is changing.
True.
Unlearning is letting go of those things that no longer serve us. There we go. And then relearning new behaviors
Yes.
that are more in line with our intentions and our goals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
these are very measured. I love the work with vision boarding, and some people do a really great job. I know some people have a vision board on their whole wall. I have like a little diary I keep of here are goals, and I might even have it on an 8x11 piece of paper. And as I achieve those goals, I just put a star next to it. But whatever works for you, I know we are looking at our digital journal that you might find helpful when we release this. This could be a part of your daily goal setting, intentions as we move into this new season, this new year.
And to just to as we start to wrap up this episode, I will say too is that give yourself credit for what you are doing, because as we're setting goals, anything that you set is realistic and attainable if you believe it and you work towards it. And that's the key. You have to do the work. But the other piece of that is sometimes we want to be at a certain place within 30 days. And if we're not there, then we're beating ourselves up, which is counterproductive. Whatever you have accomplished, give yourself credit for that, and then take an opportunity to self-reflect and identify if there were any barriers, what were the barriers, and then how do you address the barriers so that you can still achieve those goals. Give yourself grace. I will always emphasize that, and self-compassion, and be easy with yourself in the midst of also holding yourself accountable. It is a delicate dance of balance, but we also need to have balance so that you can continue to have the desire and the energy to move forward, and you can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah. But it again starts with what? Self. And that's what it is. It's about the individual, and then it's a ripple effect.
True.
Because working with a group of young ladies, one came in to speak with me and said, I just spend too much money. I want to get a handle on that. And I said, well, tell me what you're doing. And she and her friends, young, they have some disposable income, and they love to buy clothes and travel and dine out. And I said, okay, so now where can you set some goals and pull back a little bit? Then next thing I know, she recommended her girlfriend to me. And now they're, as a group, 4 of them together, making goals.
There you go. And
that reasonable.
Reasonable, but then you also have like-minded people.
There you go.
And then you're also building your own little informal support. Community. And then that also helps with accountability, that you check in with each other.
Exactly.
So I hope that this is a great start, giving you some information and kind of shaping how you might want to look at how you want to start the beginning of 2024 as you look at yourself in the mirror so you can have a successful 2024. So, IRC family, well, that is it for today. Thank you for listening. We hope you've enjoyed our topic today. And if so, like and subscribe. Remember to join us for our next episode. So have a wonderful, happy new year.